Have you ever noticed how the very first choice you make in the morning decides everything that follows? The way you rise, the way you breathe, the way you think in those first quiet minutes sets the rhythm of your entire day. Most people never realize the hidden power of the morning. They stumble into the day, pulled by alarms, screens, and distractions, without stopping to see that this single moment, this fresh beginning, is the most valuable opportunity they will ever have. Your morning is not just the start of a new day. It is the foundation of your future, and how you build it determines whether you drift aimlessly or rise with purpose. Think about it. Every morning you wake up is proof that you have been given another chance. A chance to try again, to fight harder, to become the person you promised yourself you would be. Yet too often, we trade that chance for laziness, for rushing, for living in autopilot. But you are not here to live another ordinary day. You are here to create a life that inspires you, one that makes you proud to look in the mirror. That begins with mastering your mornings. Psychology tells us that the mind is most impressionable in the first hour after waking. The emotions you feel, the words you speak, the actions you take, these are the signals your brain locks onto. They become the lens through which you see everything that happens for the rest of the day. If you wake up with chaos, your mind will seek more chaos. If you wake up with intention, your mind will seek more focus, more strength, more victories. The way you start your morning isn't just about what you do. It's about what your brain believes is possible for you today. This is why the greatest performers, leaders, and creators protect their mornings like sacred ground. They understand that if they win these first few moments, the day bends in their favor. They know momentum is born at sunrise. The truth is, your morning is either your weapon or your weakness, and only you decide which it will be. So ask yourself right now, what is your morning teaching your mind? Is it teaching you discipline, gratitude, and strength? Or is it teaching you procrastination, distraction, and weakness? Every action you repeat becomes a signal to your brain, a seed planted in your subconscious. Those seeds grow into the story you live. The question is, what story are you writing with your mornings? When you learn to take control of the start of your day, you stop living as a prisoner to circumstance. You stop reacting, and you start creating. That's the difference between people who barely survive the day and people who command it with power. Imagine walking into every day with clarity, energy, and determination already burning inside you. Imagine how much more you would achieve, how much stronger you would feel, how much closer you would be to the life you dream of, if your mornings belonged to you instead of the world's noise. This is not about routines that look good on paper. This is about reclaiming your power before the world has the chance to take it away. This is about building yourself from the inside out, one choice at a time, and the first choice is always the most important. Stay with me, because what comes next will give you the tools to transform your mornings into the foundation of the strongest, most unshakable version of yourself. This is the start of your change. This is the beginning of your rise. The moment you open your eyes, the first decision you make will either strengthen you or weaken you. Too many people lose the battle before the day even begins, because they choose comfort over growth. They reach for the phone, scroll through endless noise, or hit the snooze button again and again, telling themselves they will start later. But every time you choose delay, you train your brain to accept less from you. You plant the seed that says, it's okay to put my life on hold, and that single thought becomes the chain that holds you back. Waking up with purpose is not about how early you rise, but about what you decide the moment you do. The first choice is the loudest message you send to your subconscious. If you stand up with energy, you tell your brain, I am in control. If you hesitate, you tell your brain, I am not ready. That single act of resistance or momentum becomes the anchor for the rest of the day. You cannot afford to start from a place of weakness. You must start with strength. Psychologists call this the domino effect. The first action you take creates a chain reaction that shapes everything that follows. That is why the greatest discipline is hidden in the smallest choices. Something as simple as refusing to snooze builds a mental pattern of victory. It teaches your mind that when you say you will do something, you do it. And when your mind believes that, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to feel unshakable. Every morning is a test of self-respect. When you choose to rise, when you choose to move, you prove to yourself that your word means something. And that feeling of self-respect is more powerful than any alarm, more energizing than any cup of coffee, more valuable than any external motivation. Because when you respect yourself enough to rise with purpose, you become unstoppable. Ask yourself this, Are you starting your day by showing yourself strength, or are you teaching yourself weakness? The choice seems small, but your brain does not see it as small. Your brain sees it as truth. If you start with hesitation, your mind will search for hesitation all day. If you start with discipline, your mind will search for discipline all day. This is how you train your identity. You are not just building morning routine. You are building the kind of person you are becoming. Think about the future you want, the goals you dream about, the life you know is waiting for you if you step fully into it. That version of you will not be built by sleeping through alarms or drowning in distractions before you even rise. That version of you is built the moment you decide to wake up with clarity, with purpose, with power. That version of you demands the discipline to stand up and say, "Today, I lead. Today, I choose strength." The truth is, the way you wake up is the way you live. If you wake up defeated, you carry defeat into the day. If you wake up determined, you carry fire into the day, and that fire spreads into everything you do, everything you create, everything you touch. Do not underestimate the weight of your first decision. It is not just about morning, it is about identity. Every sunrise gives you the chance to become the person who does not wait, who does not shrink, who does not waste time. Every sunrise gives you the chance to prove to yourself that you are stronger than excuses. The morning is not waiting for you to feel ready, it is daring you to rise. And when you rise with purpose, you do more than begin the day. You take command of your life. When you rise with intention, the next step is to direct your mind toward gratitude. It may seem simple, even too simple, but this single practice can change the chemistry of your entire brain. Gratitude is not just a positive thought, it is a rewiring of your nervous system. When you focus on what you already have, your brain releases serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that create happiness and drive. Without gratitude, the mind drifts into scarcity, focusing on what is missing, what is wrong, and what could go wrong. With gratitude, the mind shifts into abundance, focusing on what is present, what is working, and what can grow. The truth is, the world is constantly fighting for your attention, and if you are not deliberate, it will drag your mind into comparison, anxiety, and distraction before your day even begins. But when you deliberately choose gratitude in those first moments, you reclaim your focus and protect your peace. You are telling your mind, "I already have reasons to rise, reasons to fight, reasons to succeed." That shift is powerful, because a grateful mind cannot be controlled by fear. Fear loses its grip when gratitude enters the room. Science proves this. Gratitude lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels panic and overwhelm. It strengthens the parts of the brain responsible for focus, creativity, and emotional resilience. It literally rewires the neural pathways that shape how you see the world. In other words, gratitude is not just a feeling, it is training for your brain to see opportunities where others see problems, to see hope where others see despair, to see possibility where others only see limits. Take a moment each morning to name 3 things you are grateful for, not vague ideas, but real specific truths. The air in your lungs, the strength in your body, the chance to try again today. When you do this, you build a foundation of power, because your brain begins to expect good, and when your brain expects good, it searches for it, finds it, and amplifies it. You are literally programming yourself to succeed. Some people wake up and think of everything they lack. They feed their mind with absence, and then wonder why their day feels heavy. But you do not need to carry that weight. Gratitude frees you. It pulls your eyes away from what is missing and locks them onto what is possible. When you start your day in gratitude, you create emotional armor. Problems may come, but they cannot steal your focus, because your mind is already anchored in strength. This practice is more than a habit. It is an identity. When you choose gratitude, you are declaring to yourself and to the world, "I am not defined by what I do not have. I am empowered by what I do have." That declaration turns ordinary mornings into powerful beginnings. It transforms simple actions into profound victories. Every sunrise gives you 2 choices: to wake up chasing what you lack, or to wake up celebrating what you already hold in your hands. One path leads to emptiness. The other path leads to fulfillment. Gratitude is not about ignoring struggle. It is about arming yourself with strength before you face it. The person who wakes up grateful does not crumble when challenges appear. They rise, because they already see how much they have to fight for. This is why gratitude is not optional, it is essential. It is the foundation of joy, the root of resilience, and the spark that lights courage. Begin every morning with gratitude. and you will discover that you are already richer, stronger, and more capable than you ever believed. Gratitude awakens the mind, but the body must be awakened too. The way you treat your body in the first minutes of the day decides how much strength, clarity, and energy you carry forward. One of the simplest yet most powerful acts you can take is to hydrate. It may sound ordinary, but it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself when you wake up. After hours of rest, your body is dehydrated. Your brain, your muscles, your organs, they are all craving fuel. And the very first sip of water is more than hydration, it is renewal. Studies show that even slight dehydration can reduce focus, slow down memory, and increase irritability. When you start your day without replenishing, you begin at a disadvantage. You begin foggy, sluggish, and unprepared. But when you drink water immediately after waking, you flush toxins from your system, ignite your metabolism, and awaken the cells of your body. You give your brain the clarity it needs to process, to create, to focus. That one simple act becomes the foundation of energy that lasts through the hours ahead. This is not about a habit that looks good on paper. This is about preparing yourself to win. Imagine trying to run a race without fuel, trying to think clearly while your body is starved of what it needs most. Every single choice you make requires energy, and water is the first signal to your body that you are ready to step forward with power. It tells your system, we are alive, we are awake, and we are moving. That signal is critical, because your body listens to what you do, not what you say. Hydration is also a declaration of self-respect. It is a small but powerful act of saying, I care about my body, I care about my performance, I care about being at my best. And when you begin your day by honoring your body, you create a ripple effect. You begin to choose better foods, better actions, better habits. You remind yourself that you deserve to feel strong, alert, and energized. Many people overlook this step because it seems too small, but success is hidden in the small things repeated with discipline. Greatness is not built by rare dramatic actions. It is built by simple choices done consistently. And when you choose to hydrate, you are not just fueling your body, you are building the identity of someone who pays attention to what matters, someone who does not overlook the basics, someone who builds strength from the ground up. Energy is not luck, it is not an accident. It is the result of preparation. And the way you prepare your body each morning determines how much of your potential you can access. If you want clarity, if you want focus, if you want the strength to follow through on your goals, you must give your body the foundation it demands. Hydration is not optional, it is the switch that turns on your system. Do not underestimate the glass of water in your hand. It is not just liquid, it is clarity, it is power, it is momentum. It is the first physical act of telling yourself, today, I will take care of me. Today, I will be at my best. Start with gratitude, follow with hydration, and watch how your body and mind align to carry you forward into a day of strength. This is how you rise with energy that cannot be broken. Energy begins with hydration, but energy expands through movement. The body is designed to awaken through action, not stillness. The moment you push your muscles, stretch your frame, and draw deep breaths, you ignite the chemistry of vitality. Blood begins to flow stronger, oxygen surges through your lungs, and your brain awakens with clarity. Movement is more than exercise. It is a declaration of life. Each breath, each stretch, each step signals to your mind, I am alive, I am strong, I am ready. Science confirms this truth. When you move your body, endorphins flood your system, lifting your mood and sharpening your focus. Cortisol, the hormone of stress, begins to lower, while dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals of drive and joy, begin to rise. In a few minutes of simple movement, you shift your biology from sluggishness into strength. Your emotions follow your body, and when your body is alive with energy, your mind begins to see possibilities instead of problems. This is why movement in the morning is not optional, it is essential. You are not just warming up your muscles, you are programming your mindset. Every stretch tells your mind you are flexible, ready to adapt. Every breath tells your mind you are calm, ready to focus. Every controlled movement tells your mind you are disciplined, ready to conquer. You are building mental resilience through physical action. It does not need to be extreme. A few push-ups, a short stretch, a walk while breathing deeply. These small actions are enough to awaken your entire system. What matters most is not intensity, but intention. You are proving to yourself that you do not wait for energy to arrive, you create it. You do not wait for motivation, you summon it through motion. This is how discipline is built, by showing up for yourself before the world demands anything from you. Your body is your greatest tool, and too many people neglect it until it breaks. But when you make it a priority every morning, you begin to feel a shift. Suddenly, the tasks that once felt heavy feel lighter. The obstacles that once felt intimidating feel smaller. Strengthen the body translates to strengthen the mind. Confidence is not just a thought, it is a physical state, and when your body feels powerful, your mind follows. Ask yourself right now, do you want to walk into the day tired, stiff, and reactive, or do you want to step into it awake, flexible, and ready? The choice is yours, and it is made with every breath you take when the day begins. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. Movement is not just about health, it is about identity. It is about becoming the person who does not wait for the day to decide how they will feel, but the person who decides for themselves. Your body is speaking to you every morning. It is asking, will you honor me? Will you awaken me? Will you give me the chance to carry you with strength? Answer with action. Answer with breath. Answer with movement. When you do, you discover that energy is not something you chase. It is something you create. And once you create it, nothing can take it from you. As the body awakens through movement, the mind must awaken through stillness. Strength is not only found in action, but also in silence, and the balance of both creates true power. The world is loud, pulling your attention in 100 directions before you have even begun the day. If you do not learn to master your own mind in the quiet, the noise of life will master it for you. That is why stillness is not weakness, it is control. It is the deliberate act of stepping away from chaos to claim clarity. When you sit in silence, when you breathe deeply and allow your thoughts to settle, you train your brain to stop reacting and start observing. Psychology shows that mindfulness reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels worry and distraction, while increasing gray matter in the areas of the brain responsible for focus and decision-making. This is not just relaxation, it is training for the mind. It is sharpening the sword of your awareness so you can cut through the noise of the day with precision and calm. Most people fear silence because it confronts them with their own thoughts. They rush to fill the emptiness with screens, noise, and distractions, but all they are doing is running from themselves. The truth is, transformation begins when you stop running. Silence allows you to hear what your mind has been trying to tell you. It reveals the patterns, the fears, the dreams that you bury under constant stimulation. In that quiet, you gain the power to decide what stays and what goes. You are no longer a prisoner of thought. You become the master of thought. Even a few minutes of silence each morning builds resilience that lasts throughout the day. It teaches your nervous system to stay calm under pressure, to respond instead of react, to remain steady when others collapse. This is why the most centered, grounded people are not those who rush through every moment, but those who pause, breathe, and act from a place of inner strength. Silence is not empty. It is full of energy, full of power, full of possibility. Stillness also reconnects you to purpose. When you strip away the noise, you remember what matters. You remember the values you stand for, the goals you are working toward, the vision that fuels you. In silence, your heart speaks louder than your fears. And when you start the day from that place of alignment, you walk into the world unshaken by distraction. You carry a focus that cannot be stolen, because it was built in the depths of your own stillness. This practice does not require hours. It requires intention. A few minutes of closing your eyes, breathing slowly, and anchoring yourself in the present is enough to shift your state completely. You are reminding yourself that peace is not something the world gives you. It is something you create. And when you create peace at the beginning of your day, you carry it into every challenge, every interaction, every choice that follows. The mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat begins. If you want to walk through your day with clarity, you must first win in silence. Sit in stillness, breathe with purpose, let your thoughts settle until you can see clearly. From that place of calm, you do not just enter the day, you command it. Silence gives you control over your inner world, and from that control comes the ability to create your outer world with intention. Once your mind is calm, the most powerful thing you can do is to direct it toward vision. Visualization is not daydreaming, it is mental programming. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself succeeding, your brain does not see it as fantasy. Neuroscience shows that visualization activates the same neural pathways as real action. Your mind rehearses success before your body experiences it, and this rehearsal builds confidence, clarity, and certainty. When you picture the day ahead, When you see yourself moving with focus, handling challenges with strength, and achieving your goals with determination, you give your brain a script to follow. Without this mental rehearsal, you leave your day to chance, reacting to whatever comes. But when you visualize with clarity, you set the stage for victory. You tell your mind, this is what I expect. This is who I am. This is how I will show up. And the mind, designed to follow the images you feed it, begins to align your actions with that vision. The power of visualization is that it builds belief. Most people struggle not because they lack potential, but because they lack belief in their potential. They let doubt cloud their vision, and doubt kills action before it begins. But when you see yourself succeeding, when you rehearse the outcome with emotion and intensity, you break down the walls of doubt. You train your mind to expect success rather than fear failure. And when the mind expects success, it looks for solutions, not excuses. Visualization is also a weapon against fear. The brain often resists what feels unfamiliar, labeling it as danger, even if it is simply growth. That is why stepping into new goals can feel overwhelming. But when you rehearse them in your mind, you make them familiar. You turn the unknown into something your brain recognizes, and fear begins to fade. The challenge does not disappear, but you no longer face it as a stranger. You face it as someone who has already walked that path in your imagination, someone who knows what it feels like to succeed. Each morning, give yourself the gift of vision. See the version of yourself who is disciplined, confident, and unshakable. See yourself making choices that align with your values. See yourself speaking with courage, moving with focus, finishing what you start. The images you hold create the actions you take, and the actions you take create the life you live. If you can see it, you can believe it. If you believe it, you can build it. Do not underestimate the power of these moments. Just a few minutes of focused visualization can transform hesitation into certainty, doubt into confidence, and confusion into clarity. You are not imagining for entertainment. You are programming for transformation. Every image you hold becomes a seed planted in your subconscious, and your subconscious works tirelessly to bring it to life. Your future is not waiting for luck. It is waiting for direction, and the direction you give begins with what you choose to see in your mind each morning. Train your brain to see success before the day begins, and you will step into the world already prepared to live it. Vision shapes direction, but direction needs structure. Without clear priorities, even the strongest vision collapses into chaos. The mind cannot thrive in confusion. It needs clarity. Every morning is an opportunity to choose what truly matters before the distractions of the world bury you under noise. Writing down your priorities is not a small act. It is the act of claiming control over your day. When you take a pen to paper and decide what deserves your focus, you separate the essential from the trivial. You give yourself a map instead of wandering without purpose. Psychology proves that the brain responds differently when goals are written instead of kept in thought. Thoughts fade. Thoughts get lost. But written words command attention. Studies show that people who write their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them, because the act of writing transforms a wish into a commitment. It takes an idea floating in your mind and anchors it into reality. The page does not lie. It reflects what you have chosen, and once it is there, it holds you accountable. Every day you are faced with countless decisions, and each one consumes mental energy. Without clarity, your mind wastes strength on the unimportant, leaving you drained before you ever reach what truly matters. But when you define your top priorities at the start, you protect your energy. You no longer chase distractions because your brain already knows where to focus. You no longer drown in busyness because you have chosen progress over noise. The truth is, busyness without direction is the greatest thief of potential. Focus with intention is the greatest creator of it. This simple practice also builds discipline. When you write down your tasks and commit to them, you prove to yourself that your word matters. Each time you complete what you wrote, you build a deeper level of self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. You cannot truly believe in yourself if you constantly break promises to yourself. But when your list becomes your contract, and you honor it, you begin to believe in your own strength at a level that cannot be shaken. It is not about writing down everything. It is about choosing the few things that matter most, and executing them with full focus. 3 meaningful priorities completed with intensity outweigh a dozen meaningless tasks that leave you exhausted and empty. Success is not found in doing more. It is found in doing what matters most. Each morning you hold the pen, and with it the power to decide the story your day will tell. There is also a deeper transformation in this act. Writing down your priorities sends a message to your subconscious. My life is not random. My time is not disposable. My choices matter. And when your subconscious accepts that truth, your actions begin to align with it. Suddenly, distractions lose their grip, procrastination loses its excuse, and your day becomes a reflection of intention instead of reaction. Do not drift. Do not leave your hours at the mercy of chance. Take control before the world takes it from you. Sit with your vision, choose your priorities, and write them down. That single act turns an ordinary day into a day of power, and when repeated, it turns an ordinary life into a life of meaning. Clarity is freedom, and freedom begins with the discipline of deciding what matters most. Clarity gives you direction, but direction without consistent action is powerless. Dreams collapse when they remain ideas instead of becoming habits. The strongest intentions mean nothing if your daily actions contradict them. The truth is that your life is not defined by what you hope for, but by what you repeatedly do. Habits are the architecture of destiny. Every choice, repeated enough times, builds a structure that either imprisons you in mediocrity or frees you into greatness. The mind craves routine because it conserves energy by automating behavior. But this can either work against you or for you. If you let unhealthy habits dominate, your brain strengthens the pathways of procrastination, self-doubt, and avoidance. If you deliberately build empowering habits, your brain strengthens the pathways of discipline, focus, and courage. This is not about willpower alone. Willpower is limited. Habits remove the constant fight by programming success into your daily rhythm. What once felt hard becomes automatic. What once demanded effort becomes effortless. That is the power of alignment between intention and habit. Psychology proves that the small, consistent actions you repeat have a compounding effect far greater than any single effort. The brain wires itself to expect what you practice. The body follows the patterns you set. If you tell yourself you will wake early but stay in bed, you reinforce weakness. If you rise despite resistance, you reinforce strength. The mind records every action, and with each repetition, you teach yourself who you truly are. Every moment you either train yourself to be disciplined or train yourself to quit. There is no neutrality. Transformation does not happen in grand gestures. It happens in the ordinary moments when no one is watching. It happens when you choose water over distraction, when you open the book instead of scrolling, when you step forward into discomfort instead of retreating into comfort. These choices may seem small, but they are not small to your future. They are the proof of whether you respect yourself enough to do what you said you would do. And self-respect is the soil where confidence grows. The problem is not that change is impossible. The problem is that people expect it to feel easy. They mistake resistance for a sign they cannot do it, when in reality, resistance is the very evidence that growth is occurring. The discomfort you feel when you break an old habit or form a new one is not weakness. It is rewiring. It is your brain breaking free from an old identity and building a stronger one. If you can endure that discomfort long enough, it becomes your new normal, and once it becomes normal, you no longer fight, you flow. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. Each choice stacks on top of the last, until one day, you are living the life you once thought was impossible, not because you made one massive leap, but because you refused to stop casting votes for your future self. Consistency is the silent force that wins battles talent alone cannot. Dedication, repeated daily, beats inspiration that comes and goes. So anchor yourself in habits that align with your vision, protect them fiercely. Honor them even when motivation fades, because it will fade, that is natural. But discipline is stronger than mood. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could be. If you want transformation, you cannot rely on fleeting sparks. You must build a fire that feeds itself, one habit at a time. When your actions and intentions finally align, the gap between your potential and your reality begins to close, and the life you were meant to live no longer feels distant, it becomes undeniable. True power lies in the ability to master yourself. Every external achievement begins with the invisible victories won within. The person who cannot command their own thoughts, emotions, and impulses will always remain at the mercy of circumstances. The world does not bend to wishes. It bends to the will of those who have disciplined themselves to rise above excuses and fragile emotions. You cannot build a strong future on a weak foundation of fleeting moods. Strength comes when you act with conviction. Even when every fiber of you seeks comfort, your mind is both your greatest enemy and your greatest ally. Left uncontrolled, it invents fears, amplifies doubts, and drags you back into the familiar chains of hesitation. Trained and directed, it becomes a weapon sharper than any obstacle. You teach your mind through repetition, by refusing to surrender to the first wave of resistance. Each time you override weakness with deliberate action, you teach your brain a new truth, that you are stronger than the moment, stronger than the discomfort, stronger than the voice that says quit. Over time, that truth becomes your identity, and your identity becomes unstoppable. The mistake most make is waiting for motivation, as if change will arrive wrapped in inspiration every morning. But motivation is fleeting. It comes in bursts and disappears when life presses back. Relying on motivation is like building a house on shifting sand. What holds you steady is not inspiration, it is discipline. Discipline is not emotional, it is principle. It is the decision to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It is the refusal to negotiate with your excuses. It is the unshakable standard you set for yourself, so high that mediocrity can no longer reach you. Understand that your standards shape your life more than your goals. Anyone can dream. Anyone can write goals. But few are willing to raise their standards and never lower them. When you decide that excuses are no longer acceptable, when you decide that half effort is no longer tolerable, when you decide that your life will only reflect excellence and nothing less, everything changes. Standards create boundaries. Standards draw the line between who you were and who you are becoming. Standards protect you from the weakness of compromise. Life will test your commitment to these standards. It will throw obstacles, delays, and hardships at you to see if you meant what you said. Many people give up here, mistaking struggle for failure, when in reality struggle is proof of growth. The weight you resist in the gym tears muscle fibers so they can rebuild stronger. In the same way, the weight of adversity tears through weakness so your character can rebuild into resilience. The test is not meant to break you, it is meant to reveal you. Every challenge you face is an invitation to become the stronger version of yourself you claimed you wanted to be. And when you meet that test with strength, when you hold the line against temptation, when you rise even after falling, you unlock a confidence that no external validation could ever give. You realize that you are not fragile, you are not ordinary, you are not trapped, you are powerful beyond measure. And this realization changes everything. Because once you know your strength, you can no longer pretend to be weak. Once you experience the fire of discipline, you can no longer settle for the comfort of mediocrity. You rise, you endure, you push forward, not because it is easy, but because you have become the kind of person who no longer runs from difficulty, but thrives in it. The world is filled with people who live half-lived lives, who bury their potential beneath layers of doubt and fear, who silence their own greatness because they're too afraid of being uncomfortable. But the truth is simple. Discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Everything you want lies on the other side of resistance, and if you never step into it, you will remain trapped in the ordinary. Growth demands that you lean into the moments that scare you, that stretch you, that force you to confront your limits, because it is in those very moments that limits dissolve, and a stronger, more capable version of you emerges. You cannot rewrite your life by doing what you have always done. Change requires defiance, a bold decision to stop living by the patterns that keep you small each day you are given a choice, to repeat yesterday's habits or to carve a new path forward. The difference between those who rise and those who remain is not talent, not luck, not circumstance. It is the courage to act differently, consistently, even when it feels unbearable. Small actions, repeated with relentless discipline, create monumental transformation. What feels insignificant today compounds into strength, resilience, and power tomorrow. Fear will always try to negotiate with you. It will whisper reasons why you should wait, why you should hesitate, why you are not ready. But fear only has power when you obey it. The moment you act in the presence of fear, you strip it of its control. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward regardless of it. And with every step you take in defiance of fear, you reclaim a piece of yourself that was once hidden. You prove to yourself that you are not fragile, that you are not a prisoner of doubt, but a force capable of bending reality through willpower and persistence. The path of mastery is not about speed but consistency. It is not about the grand gesture but the daily choice, the decision to wake up and move forward, the decision to show up when you don't feel like it, the decision to give your best when no one is watching. These are the quiet victories that separate the powerful from the powerless. Greatness is built in silence, in moments where discipline overrides emotion, where persistence outlasts excuses, where standards crush mediocrity. And one day, the results of those unseen choices will speak so loudly that no one can deny who you have become. Understand that life is not waiting to hand you power. It is waiting to see if you are willing to claim it. Every obstacle, every delay, every setback is a question. How badly do you want this? Those who crumble reveal they never wanted it enough. Those who persist prove that their hunger is greater than their hardship. And when your hunger outweighs every excuse, when your determination outlasts every obstacle, when your vision becomes non-negotiable, then you become unstoppable. You are not here to live on the sidelines of your own life. You are not here to watch others rise while you remain hidden in comfort. You are here to test the limits of your potential, to discover how far your strength can take you, to create a life that reflects your courage, not your fear. The question is not whether you are capable. The question is whether you will demand it of yourself. Because the moment you decide, fully and without hesitation, everything changes. You step into the life you were meant to live, and nothing can hold you back. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world, not against circumstances, not even against the people who doubt you. The greatest battle is within yourself. It is the war between the part of you that seeks growth and the part of you that clings to comfort. It is the struggle between the voice that urges you to rise and the voice that tempts you to settle. Every day this battle is fought in silence, and every choice you make tips the scale. The moment you choose strength over weakness, discipline over indulgence, and courage over hesitation, you declare victory over the enemy within. You are not powerless, but you have been conditioned to believe that you are. You have been taught to wait for permission, to seek validation, to play by rules designed to keep you small. Yet the truth is that no one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to hand you the life you dream of. Power is not given. It is taken. It is claimed through action, through persistence, through the refusal to accept anything less than the life you know you were meant to live. The people who transform their lives are not the ones who wait. They are the ones who demand. There will be days when your energy feels drained, when progress feels invisible, when the weight of the journey tempts you to quit. These are the defining moments. Anyone can keep going when it is easy, but the strong keep going when it is unbearable. Endurance is the real measure of strength, the ability to keep moving, not because you feel like it, but because your vision demands it, because your future self depends on it, because you have already decided that quitting is not an option. Your mind will try to protect you from pain, but in doing so it also shields you from growth. It will trick you into believing that comfort is safety, but comfort is decay disguised as peace. Safety is not found in retreat, it is found in resilience. When you choose the path of challenge, you are not choosing suffering, you are choosing expansion. You are choosing to step into the unknown, where your true strength can reveal itself. The pain of discipline will always be lighter than the pain of regret, and the fire of challenge will always forge something greater than ease ever could. You must decide what kind of life you are willing to fight for. If you want ordinary, stay where you are. If you want extraordinary, then everything must change. Your habits, your mindset, your standards, your discipline. Transformation does not ask for half measures. It demands all of you. The price of greatness is steep, but so is the cost of mediocrity. One leads to fulfillment, the other to emptiness. The choice will always be yours, and the weight of that choice will shape every day of your existence. Do not underestimate what you are capable of. There is power within you that has not yet been touched, strength that has not yet been tested, and potential that has not yet been awakened. The life you want is not waiting for some perfect moment. It is waiting for you to rise now. And once you take that step, once you commit without hesitation, you will discover that the limits you believed in were never real. They were illusions created by fear. And when fear falls, freedom begins. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is the resistance you continue to feed. Every excuse, every hesitation, every delay is a brick you stack on the wall that separates you from your future. But walls are not permanent. They crumble the moment you decide to stop reinforcing them. Resistance loses its power the moment you confront it head-on. The fear of starting dissolves once you take the first step, and the fear of failure evaporates once you decide that failure is simply feedback, nothing more. You are not defined by the moments you fall. You are defined by the strength with which you rise. The mind will always whisper reasons why now is not the time. It will point to your weaknesses, your past mistakes, the opinions of others, and the uncertainty of the path ahead. But every voice of doubt is only an echo of fear trying to protect you from growth. If you silence those voices, even for a moment, you will hear something deeper, the quiet but undeniable pull of your potential. That pull is truth. That pull is who you were always meant to become. Ignore it long enough, and you will feel the slow ache of regret. Honor it, and you will taste the power of becoming unstoppable. There is no destiny without discipline. Dreams alone will never carry you forward. The gap between vision and reality is filled with relentless action, and the ones who cross it are not the most talented, not the luckiest, but the most consistent. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to move, it is about transforming movement into who you are. When your identity shifts, your actions follow effortlessly. You are no longer someone trying to become disciplined, you are discipline embodied. And in that transformation, nothing can stand in your way. Do not wait for confidence before you act. Confidence is not the prerequisite, it is the reward. Every action taken in the face of fear builds it. Every small victory, every moment you refuse to quit, every choice you make in alignment with your higher self, creates the unshakable belief that you are capable of more. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move despite it. Confidence is born from that courage, and once you taste it, it multiplies until it becomes a force that can move mountains. Your power lies not in what you wish for, but in what you demand from yourself every single day. Your rituals, your focus, your discipline. These are the tools that carve destiny from stone. The future will not bend to your intentions, but it will yield to your actions. You are crafting it in this very moment with every thought you allow and every choice you make. Choose to think small, and life shrinks to match it. Choose to act boldly, and life expands beyond what you thought possible. There is no finish line on this path, only higher levels of strength, clarity, and purpose. The journey does not end with one victory. It only sets the stage for the next, and that is where fulfillment lives, not in reaching a single destination, but in becoming someone who continues to rise, again and again, regardless of what stands in the way. The question is not whether you can do it, but whether you will decide to, and the moment you decide, with absolute certainty, nothing in this world can stop you. Got it? You want a 13-section motivational script outline, each section equally detailed and powerful, built around the title, "Do This, and People Will Respect You Immediately." Command respect. Before I dive into drafting, I need to confirm one thing. Do you want me to start writing the full script, 13x 500 words equal to 6,500 words directly, or would you prefer I first give you a structured outline of the 13 sections with short summaries of what each section will cover, so you can approve the flow before I expand each into 500 words? This way, I don't risk writing thousands of words in the wrong direction. Would you like me to first create the outline, then expand, or go straight into the full script? Have you ever felt the sting of being ignored, the ache of speaking and realizing no one is really listening? That moment when your presence doesn't command the respect you know deep down you deserve. It cuts deeper than most people admit, because it's not just about being heard, it's about being valued, about knowing your voice has weight. Every human being craves respect, not as an ego boost, but as proof that who they are matters, and when you don't get it, it's easy to shrink back, to start questioning yourself, to wonder if maybe you're just invisible in a world that seems to overlook you. But here's the truth you need to remember right now. Respect is not something you beg for. It's something you command. Respect doesn't come from luck, status, or even money. It doesn't come from being louder, harsher, or forcing people to notice you. It comes from an inner power that radiates so strongly people cannot help but recognize it. That power already exists within you, but most people bury it under fear, hesitation, and the constant need to please others. You have been taught to lower your voice so others feel comfortable, to hide your strength so no one feels threatened, to agree even when your heart screams no, and every time you do, a piece of your respect crumbles. If you want respect immediately, you must reclaim your presence, your standards, your boundaries. The first step is understanding that respect is not given freely. It is a reflection of how you carry yourself. People treat you the way you allow them to. If you walk through life uncertain, apologizing for existing, bending at every push, you teach others that it's acceptable to dismiss you. But the moment you decide to stand taller, to speak with clarity, to hold your ground without anger but with certainty, you flip a switch inside their minds. Human psychology is wired to recognize confidence and boundaries as signals of value. People may not even realize it consciously, but they sense when someone cannot be pushed, when someone commands attention without demanding it. That's when respect flows naturally. Think about it. The people you respect most are not necessarily the wealthiest or the most powerful. They are the ones who refuse to compromise their self-worth. They are the ones who look you in the eye without flinching, who say yes when they mean yes and no when they mean no, who don't need validation because they know who they are. You can become that person. You can decide right now to carry yourself with the quiet strength that demands acknowledgement. And here's the reward. Once you unlock this, everything changes. Conversations shift. People listen. Opportunities open. Your relationships deepen. You stop chasing approval and start attracting respect effortlessly. This is not about arrogance. It's about presence. It's about becoming the kind of person whose energy speaks before their words do. And if you stay with me, I will show you step by step how to ignite that energy within yourself, so that respect is no longer something you chase, but something you embody. Because the moment you decide to stop shrinking and start standing, you won't just get respect, you'll transform how the world sees you and how you see yourself. Respect begins with the way you see yourself, because the world mirrors back the energy you project. If you carry yourself with hesitation, if you let self-doubt dominate your tone, your body language, and your choices, people sense it instantly. Human beings are wired to read subtle cues, posture, eye contact, tone of voice, and without saying a word, you broadcast whether you believe in yourself or not. When you walk into a room with your shoulders slouched, eyes down, and voice trembling, you tell others subconsciously that your presence doesn't deserve space. But when you enter with your head held high, shoulders steady, and words spoken with calm certainty, you signal authority without uttering a single demand. Respect always begins from within, long before others ever grant it to you. This is why so many people struggle to be taken seriously. They try to force respect through aggression or manipulation, yet deep inside they do not even respect themselves. And when you don't respect yourself, no amount of external validation will fill that void. You cannot fake self-respect. It shows in how you treat your time, how you honor your commitments, and how you hold your boundaries. The quickest way to lose respect is to compromise on what you know is right for the sake of temporary approval. But the quickest way to gain it is to stand firm in your values, even when it costs you comfort, even when it risks rejection. Because deep down people admire those who refuse to abandon themselves. There is something magnetic about someone who knows who they are. They don't need to raise their voice, they don't need to beg for attention, they don't bend just to fit in. And that steadiness makes others lean in, listen closely, and take them seriously. This is where true power lives, not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. When your words match your actions, when your emotions are balanced, when your energy says, "I know my worth," people recognize it immediately. They may not always agree with you, but they cannot ignore you. Every moment of your life is a message you send about how you expect to be treated. If you tolerate disrespect, it continues. If you downplay your abilities, others will too. If you constantly apologize for existing, you give permission for others to overlook you, but the instant you decide that your time, your voice, and your boundaries matter, the energy around you shifts. You no longer attract people who take advantage, because they know they cannot. You begin to attract people who value, appreciate, and acknowledge the strength you radiate. Respect is not about being perfect. It's not about always having the right words or flawless confidence. It's about alignment between who you say you are and how you show up. When your actions match your words, when you stop hiding your true self, when you carry yourself with quiet certainty, people feel it. And once you embody it, respect becomes effortless. It follows you into every conversation, every decision, every relationship. The world begins to treat you the way you treat yourself, and that is the moment life starts shifting in your favor. Respect also lives in the discipline you practice when no one is watching. People are drawn to those who carry an inner strength that cannot be shaken by laziness, excuses, or weakness. When you build habits of consistency, when you follow through on promises you make to yourself, you radiate a level of trustworthiness that others instantly recognize. Think about it. How can someone take you seriously if you constantly break your own word? Every time you tell yourself you will do something and then you don't, you weaken your own foundation. But each time you keep that promise, no matter how small, You reinforce a core of self-respect that grows unshakable. Discipline is not about perfection or punishment. It's about proving to yourself that your actions align with your values. When you rise early to pursue your goals, when you train your mind to stay focused instead of distracted, when you choose growth over comfort, you are building the invisible armor of respect. People sense it immediately because it's rare. In a world where many give up at the first sign of resistance, the person who keeps going stands apart. That endurance commands admiration without asking for it. You can feel the difference in the presence of someone who lives with discipline. Their words carry weight because they've been tested in fire. They don't talk about what they might do, they embody what they've already done. That is why discipline is one of the most magnetic traits a human can have. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand, it simply shows through results, and people naturally lean toward those who live with such clarity. Respect follows because discipline proves reliability, and reliability is the foundation of trust. There is a deep psychological truth here. People respect consistency more than talent because consistency shows strength of character. You may not be the smartest, the fastest, or the most skilled, but if you are the one who shows up every single day, people begin to count on you. And when others can count on you, they elevate you. They listen more carefully, they value your words, and they recognize your presence. Respect is rarely built in one dramatic moment. It is built brick by brick, day after day, in the choices you make when no one is clapping. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do you radiate through your habits? Do you show the world that you are someone who can be trusted with responsibility, someone who treats their own commitments as sacred? Or do you show inconsistency, waiting for the right mood before you act, letting comfort dictate your destiny? The truth is clear. People respect those who respect discipline, because it signals that you have control over yourself. And if you can control yourself, you can handle the challenges of the world. When you carry discipline in your actions, respect becomes unavoidable. Others see the strength behind your quiet decisions, and they respond with admiration. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. Your habits speak louder than any words, and they tell the world one powerful truth. This person is serious. This person is reliable. This person deserves respect. Respect also rises from the way you handle pressure. Anyone can look composed when life is easy, but true strength reveals itself when challenges press in, when uncertainty clouds the path, when everything in you is tempted to break down or give up.